What are some of the common mistakes that you see people making when it comes to cold calling?
If you are making a spiel right away, like 15 seconds, not even allowing them to drop their guard, that's a big mistake. You are talking too much. That's a big mistake. Your pitch is too long. That's a big mistake. Your value prop just you think is the value prop that you care about, but they don't care about it. That's another mistake. I like to give people an assurance on calls when people don't give assurances, like, hey, just to make sure like you're not wasting their time, right? It's like, can we set up a demo? If you like what you hear, we can move on to the next step. If you absolutely hate it, we can part ways and we've both learned something new, right? Something like that. Throw that in there. Just creating assurances and just creating enough trust that you won't waste their time in the future.
Okay.
And when people don't do that on a cold call, it kind of it tends to hurt them.
Yeah. So you just like you're automatically kind of limiting their risk, right? It's only going to
Yeah,
be a minute. If you don't like what I have to say, I'll leave you alone. Like you're not
yeah.
asking an unlimited amount of time and focus from them. Yeah. Okay.
And then another big mistake is people ask too many questions on the cold call. It almost becomes like a survey.
How many is the right amount of questions to ask?
It's not how many. It depends on how the conversation is flowing. But if you're like asking question after question after question after question, like, hey, how many car washes do you have? Hey, who's the decision maker? Hey, who? How many calls do you get a day? Hey, how do you do? At that point, they're like, why the hell am I answering this guy's questions that just randomly called me?
And is that where people start going away from the original goal of the call in the first place, which was to line up a time for a demo?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, in the demo, you can ask all of those questions, and
Mm,
that's how I do demos always. It's the first 50% of the demo, I'm asking questions, man. Like I tell
mm,
them, like it's gonna feel like an interview,
mm,
and it's because I'm trying to understand your process so that I can fit my product into your process
mhm.
rather than tell you everything that's unrelated to your process, right? And so I make it clear on the demo that I'm going to ask a billion questions, but on the cold call, asking too many questions is not good.
And what's the best time to cold call?
I don't know. I mean, there isn't like a secret sauce to it. People will say based on research, based on whatever. But if you can, when you say the best time, it's like they're talking about when you can get someone on the phone, right?
Mm,
Um, it's not really when is the best time someone has a good mood, which they
mm.
also did research on that and said after lunch because they're full. But I think it was after or before. I can't remember. But honestly, like the best time is when you are in a good mood to do a cold call.
Mm.
When you're like ready to do a cold call, just do a cold call. Like there isn't. It's if you're founder led cold calls, you're not on a dial pad making 200 calls a
Mm.
day, right? That's when the best time for cold calling matters is when you're doing 200, 300 calls a day. But when you're just founder led, like I do a cold call whenever, obviously between business hours too, right?
But I wasn't sure if you kind of like block out, like on
Yeah.
every Tuesday morning, I'm going to do cold calls for 4 hours. Like I tried doing that once. I think I read that in a blog post. I tried doing that once. Hour number three, like I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I've forgotten which planet I'm on by that point because my mind's just a blur. Like I can
Yeah.
do it for maybe an hour and then I can't focus anymore. Do you find the same thing or am I just weak?
Yeah, no, you're not weak. In the world of cold calls and callers, you would die in the trenches, right? No, I agree with you. Just sitting down, man, cold calling is mentally exhausting. It's just so, it sucks. Especially with rejection. You get one rejection and you're like, F this guy and F his company. And you're like, in your mind, it just affects you.
Mm.
Um, People say grow thick skin. Yeah, you can grow thick skin and just move on to the next one, but you're still thinking about the guy that said, no, you're worthless and hangs up on you, right?
I think too, as a founder, like founder led cold calls, you take that rejection so much more personally because it's your
Yeah.
business, it's your thing, and yeah, I get that. Do you have any tips or any hacks on dealing with rejection?
It's just grow a pair, I guess. Like you're gonna get rejection no matter what, especially being a early founder, and just get over it. Like don't. I know it's easy to say don't let it affect you. I let it affect me sometimes, but it's just like it's whatever. Like just move on to the next one is my advice, is just move on to the next one. There's plenty of customers that you can go after, and that one person that rejected you will not make or break your business.
Hey, it's Ryan here. If you liked that video, please click the like and subscribe button somewhere down there and check out the full interview right over here. Go on, click it. You know you want to.